want to say a few words before I introduce our mayor, James Demetriadis. You know, I want to welcome you all here. This was a great accomplishment. It was a team effort. A lot of it though goes to our town engineer, and I think I saw John Harriman. We really kept tabs on everything. We were very fortunate. Senator Lesser and Representative Carpino, they gave us $1.5 million grant to do the work here in the park. Would have been nice if we had a little bit more. The town council and the mayor can speak about it, gave us some additional funding, but this is a great day as far as I'm concerned. You know, I know Dick, God, 40 years, Brenda? Oh. I still remember him to this day walking on that field with that pipe, and, you know, barking at me, and I got hooked up with Wayne Burgess to do C. He convinced me I had to do the coaching of the C teams, and of course he was overall the head of, as usual, the head of everything that went on. And to this day, I miss him. He used to come to my office and talk economic development and then anything else about our families. And, oh, I can't believe it. Your daughter. Oh, I keep seeing her this little with a cheerleader up, you know. But I think this is a great thing. Great way to honor a great man that gave a lot to town. Cromwell, you know, as far as I'm concerned, Cromwell was right up there right after his family, and this is very befitting. I'm glad the council and the mayor, you know, saw fit and agreed with this. And on that note, I want to introduce our mayor, James Demetriadis, to say a few words. And I just want to point out that we do have Councilwoman Paula Luna with us and Councilman Alan Waters.
Right there.
Oh, right there. Got behind me. And there's a number of our staff that were involved. I just want to give also a shout out to our rec director, Scott Harris, who was heavily also involved. And our police chief and our captain are with us, and our librarian. He's hiding, as always. So with that, the mayor for the town of Cromwell, James Demetriadis.
Alrighty, well, welcome everybody. So I wanted to make a number of remarks today. So first of all, I wanted to talk about this building. I know the state senator and the state representative aren't able to be with us right now. They're in session, and the lieutenant governor is presiding over the session. She wanted to be here as well, but unfortunately they have legislating to do, and it's a long session, so they'll probably be there until June. But we miss them, and we want to thank them for making this economically possible. You know, getting the grant from them for the bonding of $1.5 million really helped kick this project off, and then the council supported additional funding for this project to make sure that the building could be weatherized, winterized, and insulated properly so it could be usable for all year. You know, when I talked to Tony about wanting to develop downtown Cromwell, something we've really talked about is developing spaces for people to congregate and meet together. And what this facility represents is a place for our athletes to get together before and after games, but also for community members to have somewhere to gather downtown. And when we were developing the building, unfortunately we lost a giant in our town, and we thought this was an opportunity to recognize him for all time. You know, Mr. Nobile had a lot of hats that he wore. He was a father, he was a spouse, he was a grandfather, he was a coach, he was a real estate agent, he was a recreation commissioner, and he was an economic development commissioner. He touched every aspect of the development of this town. And I'd like to tell you and share with you the reason I'm in this town is because of him. He sold my parents their first house in Cromwell in 1995. And he told me the negotiation with my mother was one of the toughest negotiations he ever had to go through. And that my mom wanted to knock the price off everywhere that she could. And he said that she was the best negotiator, the hardest negotiator of his real estate career. So I appreciate that. You know, when I first got elected, I met with Dick a couple weeks after getting elected, and Deputy Mayor Waters was with us, and I brought a list of 12, 13 things I wanted to see done, and he said, slow down, slow down. Let's take a couple off the list. Let's, walk before we run, chew before we swallow. But he was such a great partner for the first year of my mayorship, and I miss him dearly. And I think we all do, because when you have somebody in your community who is a giant, we all stand in their shadow. And so when Dale and I were talking about ways that we could remember him, we realized we had this building coming up and we could name it after him. So we all stand in his shadow. The sports programs in this town, the recreation programs in the town, the economic development in this town are all in his shadow of his work. And now for time in memoriam, he's going to be watching every football game, every cheerleading competition, everything that happens in downtown Cromwell. He'll be here watching it with us. And I think there's no more fitting memorial to such a great man and such a great community member. And I'd like to recognize that his family is here, his spouse is here, and I would like to recognize his son to come up and give a few remarks as well.
I'm going to wear Dad's favorite jacket. I think Dad spent about 40 years in this jacket.
Close.
Plus.
Well, he spent 50 years on this field for sure. So good afternoon, everybody. Thank you. I appreciate it. It's a great honor to stand before you today as we gather, dedicate this facility, the Richard C. Nobile Fieldhouse. And on behalf of my family, we'd like to thank Mayor Mitriades, Town Manager Tony Salvatore. Your efforts were great, and it was great dealing with you. We appreciate you. You made this day happen. Thanks to the Cromwell Town Council for the unanimous approval to name this field after my father, and thank you to all other folks who are here today. We appreciate it. So the structure not only stands as a gathering place, but also a gathering place for all the athletes, but a symbol of community, excellence, and service. My father personified all of those values. This is a fitting location, as Dad spent many years here, coaching midget football, Little League, and Senior League baseball, among others. My brothers and I spent many agonizing hours here, waiting in the car while Dad bent the ear of the unfortunate person who was the last person to leave the game. He loved to talk to people. For over 5 decades, Dad poured himself into the town of Cromwell as a coach and civic leader. He had a lengthy resume of coaching jobs, including Cromwell midget football, junior pro basketball, Cromwell Little League, Senior League baseball, and countless others. He loved to coach and to be around young people. He did it because he believed that through sports he could lift kids up and prepare them for the challenges of life and create responsible and respectful citizens. He loved the underdog. He was an advocate for kids less privileged. Dad would buy sports equipment for those families who couldn't afford it. And he'd tell the kids, I had some extra stuff in my bag, or some stuff left over from last year. My father was always giving rides to kids from the Cromwell Children's Home to and from practice. When not on the field, Dad chaired the Economic Development Commission. He was a member of Park and Recs, the Riverport Fest, Cromwell VFW, and was a founder of the Cromwell Athletic Club. Dad was named Cromwell Man of the Year in 2007 for his more than 30 years of service, dedication to the youth, and the community of Cromwell. Dad grew up in the north end of Hartford, and he was not an educated man. It was his common sense and street smarts that helped him negotiate with lawyers or multi-billion-dollar corporations to bring businesses to the town of Cromwell. He was not about politics. He even forbade talk of politics during his economic development meetings. It was all about what was best for the town of Cromwell and the community, period. One of Dad's favorite heroes was Vince Lombardi, and here's a quote from Vince. The quality of a person's life is in direct proportion to their commitment to excellence, regardless of their chosen field of endeavor. And Dad's life was a quality life and a long life. Some of you here today may have been coached by him, worked with him, or watched him build programs. You know what he meant to the town of Cromwell. His legacy is not just in memories, but in the lives he's touched, and now in this field house. This field house will be a place where athletes gather together and memories are made. but it will be a place where Coach Nobile's spirit endures. In every act of sportsmanship, in every huddle, in every moment of perseverance and hope. May it stand as a reminder of the gift of community service and personal dedication. Thank you all for continuing in the spirit of teamwork and service and excellence, all values that Richard held dear. And thank you for honoring my father's legacy. Thank you.
And now, everyone step forward. Step forward, step up to the ribbon, everyone get a hand on it. Okay. Yay! So we are now open. The Richard Noble Field House is now open to the public. So congratulations, thank you for cutting the ribbon.
Thank you.
We'll now do a facilities tour, and folks are welcome to stay as long as they like. I'd like to also thank Chris from the Middlesex Chamber of Commerce for being here. I didn't thank him earlier. So Chris, thank you. You worked many years with him on the EDC, so I apologize for not recognizing you being here earlier. But let us get the tour going.
Hey, stop.